As we go out on this Gemsbok hunt, this is a species of antelope that I'm in awe of. If you just look at the coloration of it, you're immediately going to be drawn to its beauty and how they are. And they're a plains animal by nature. They, you see great herds of them more often than not. Occasionally you'll find some lone bulls, they say, in certain situations. I mean, I've encountered these animals in a lot of places in Texas, but to have the opportunity to go on a long spot and stock for a Gemsbok with a caliber rifle that I love, whew, you talk about I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. Carl, a Gemsbok is something that's always caught my attention. There's a lot of them in Texas, there's some in New Mexico. I think they have one of the coolest faces, the horns, and they're very, they're an animal. And I think a lot of people, are intrigued and want to learn more about.
Yeah, Wade, I think the coloration is so unique in every sense, and when you see them out here, they are just strikingly beautiful. Yeah. Like we've seen them on the trip before, but this morning we're working some of these ridges and some of these open flat areas, and we're going to look at bulls or cows. We take Gemsbok in both male and female, both are considered trophy. The females slightly longer horn length, thinner, the bulls slightly shorter, thicker bases. So we'll see what we can find. There's a lot of Gemsbok around. It's obviously a wonderful season, so a Gemsbok we always say it can live off dust and rocks, and when there's lots of food they are immaculate, so they are going to be in great condition. We'll work these ridges and see if we can get you onto a nice Gemsbok. When we go through here, just keep a good eye open for that tan colour, because it could be that a lone bull's feeding here. The tracks aren't fresh, but it shows there's constant.
So Carl's working his way down this little 2-track, and he's pointing out and telling me that there's some occasional Gemsbok tracks, but he has already spotted some, I don't know, probably 37 miles away, knowing Carl, because he thinks that's anything within 37 miles is probably an opportunity. I'm teasing. We're going to cover some ground to get across to these flats to get into position, and as we get to where the Gemsbok now are, because we haven't seen them in about 15 or 20 minutes probably, all of a sudden him and G are kind of whispering and talking and oh yeah, and pointing around, oh yeah, and looking at everything. And I pick up the Gemsbok kind of way off in the distance, and I'm thinking, I think they've moved based on my best assumption of what we're talking about. And he goes, hey, got some good ones down there, but we're gonna have to crawl.
I want to hunt an animal that doesn't know I'm there. The minute an animal knows I'm there, it makes it very challenging for me to judge, number one, and number two, for you to get comfortable without pressure. So what I want to do is I want to walk from very far. I want to go into the zone of that animal, and I want to do it in a manner that if I can, I stay out of the sun. I want to work with the shadows of the bush. I want to use the brush line I can use. And if it comes to it, we got to get low, and what I do is I get flat on my bum and I basically just scoot along like you did when you were 6-7 months old. You can actually cover ground with a lot less pain. People are able to go a lot further, stay lower, because the minute you bent over and the knees start hurting, what happens? Guys start bending up and they start pushing the envelope. So for me, I find that once you're on your backside, you stay on your backside, and it's fairly easy to lay down backwards if you need to get even flatter.
I'm just following Carl at this point, and he stops, I stop. When he starts doing a little crawl, I crawl. The only negative about this crawl is he keeps saying 20 more yards, 30 more yards. Well, we're already on like the 4th or 5th time that he said that. And in my math, and granted I went to school in Oklahoma, and we may not have had the best math teachers back then, but when you do this 1 time, that's 20, 2 times, that's 40, 3 times, that's 60, 4 times, that's 80, 5 times, that's 100. So that's, we've already covered more than 20 or 40 yards, but I think he's just trying to keep us motivated. There's another bush, we're going there, and I'm thinking, we're way past 20 and 40 and 60 yards now. But like I've been saying on these types of hunts, I trust him. He ain't let me down yet. And finally, we've all crawled and we get there, and he starts building them shooting sticks. When he starts building those shooting sticks, I've learned good things are about to happen.
On the shoulder, take your time, squeeze it off on the shoulder. Squeeze it off. Great shot. World class. Done.
What a crawl.
Are you whipped yet?
Nah, that was a heck of a lot easier than that wildebeest walk.
I can see its backside.
I can see its backside.
Yeah, let me just keep quiet. Let me just watch it there.
The one flicking his tail. There, he's moved right there.
That's it there. If you want to put one on the shoulder. Okay, just squeeze it off up with that leg, partner. Great shot. Great shot. The first shot was 100%. I could see it's down. I mean, blood coming out the nose, but I'm not going to take a chance.
No.
It's a smart, old cow.
Anytime you can put another one in, you put another one in.
Put another one in for safety. Well,
what a stock, sir.
our hands are red. Look at your hands. You got to see this, guys. Come check this out. That is the dust of Africa in every crevice on that hand. It's now with you. It's now with you, man.
And no cactus. I saw you catch one of those cactus. I didn't want one. You got two? Oh no, I was like, man, if I can make it without cactus, this is going to be a successful hunt. Yeah. Well, I've always dreamed of it at Gemsbok. I mean, that was one of my bucket list items, you know, that I've always wanted. Top 5 for me.
Yeah, we can be very chuffed with it. Ancient old Gemsbok. It's an old cow. She's nice and wide, so I know you're gonna love it. And it just worked out well, right? Yeah. But
got right in this perfect little opening.
Little opening. Yeah. Wait. Okay, she's
bucket list right there.
Bucket list, partner, and hunted in some magnificent terrain here this morning. This is a grand old Gemsbok cow. Wait, it's like at this age of their stage and age of their lives, you've got the hair thinning already. I mean, we're still in great summer conditions. It's just such an old female. And if you look on the bases here, you'll actually see the crimping. So this is huge secondary growth. I mean, this is as ancient as a Gemsbok's going to get. Not even sharp anymore.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Which is what you like to harvest. If you take a mature animal, an older animal.
100%. And like I said to you earlier, the importance of taking both male and female with Gemsbok has made them even more sustainable. Yeah. They're popular species for our landowners to have here naturally occurring, and they make for great hunting, like we experienced this morning. But the added bonus of harvesting both male and female makes that a very good option.
You can't just take one of any species and keep the herd healthy.
Correct.
It's just an impossibility. Well, that was a great stock, one that'll, I've got the dirt embedded into my hands for my flight trip home. I might not wash them.
Perfect. Many memories in those hands.
The whole time on the plane, I could look at it and think, what a great trip.
Yeah, no, congrats, man. Beautiful Gemsbok, and thanks for sticking with me this morning. That wasn't easy.
No, that was good. Well, it's not supposed to be easy every time.
Yeah, no,
awesome. Thank you, girl.
As we wind down from this epic hunt, here's Carl with another example of just how ancient this Gemsbok really is.
Well, Wade, you can see when I said old, I really meant it. I mean, these are like corn kernels. They've sunken into the gum. I mean, this Gemsbok well over 10, 12 years in age. And also to take a cow out at this age, she's done her bit for the genetics and for the growth of the herd. And
she's not breeding anymore.
She's done, and for us to be able to then get a value out of her, that's how sustainability works.
That's right. It does. There's got to be a value for people to want to have them on their property.
Absolutely.
You know, when you look at Gemsbok as a whole and their beauty and their distribution and what they mean, they are truly an animal that is something that if you come to South Africa, everybody's going to be drawn to, everybody's going to look at. But always keep this in mind. If it wasn't for their hunting value, whether they're here in South Africa or anywhere else in Africa, or whether you find them in Texas, there wouldn't be any more of them. And that's why it's so important when people come and hunt them at all the different places, people understand how key that these species are to sustainability for all of the properties at so many different levels.
Congratulations, Wade. We've loved tagging along on your South African safari adventures, and this Gemsbok is one for the record books.